did you do?
Like, my wrist is acting up.
Oh.
Maybe we should give it a break.
Because it already has one.
Oh.
All right.
Bitches. Give me a break.
Do we? Do we think we're pretty much ready to get started?
Yes, I think we're ready.
Okay.
I don't need to get ready. I stay ready. So not true. Totally not true at all.
Nice.
All
right.
Let's do this.
New season, new intro, bitches. Here we go.
Here we go.
10 across the board. COL Drag Race.
Hey, kitty girls, it's March 26, 2018. Welcome to Cubs Out Loud Drag Race T-Time season 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, that's right. It's season 10, bitches. Or weirdly, sometimes called season X. Not sure what that was about because it already went by the wayside. But it is episode number 1. We're kicking off a whole nother season because Lord knows I did not have time to rest. Thank you so much, VH1 logo and World Wonder. Yeah. Anyways, for those of you that don't know, my name's Gary. I'm one of the co-hosts here at Cubs Out Loud, and 2 other of my cohorts who are always furry yet.
What did you call me?
Fantastic. Are you triggered? Is that your problem, girl? With me are my cohorts and cohorts.
There it is again.
Bitches. Hello, everyone. This is Damon. Welcome to yet another season of bitchery.
I am Chester.
I was like, what are you triggered by? Why are you like, what'd you call me? I was like, what did I say? Oh, cohorts.
Condoms, Rose. Condoms.
Nice.
Anyway.
Are we ready to jump right in?
Let's do it.
Okay. All right. We play the cover girl clip because you know what? It's mini maxi time. Thoughts on the episode, whether there was a mini or not, and if there's a maxi challenge. This is really much where we're going to talk about it. So we had both this time. I'm curious to know what the 2 of you bitches think. Chester, let's start with you.
Well, let's start off with a run through of the queens that are on the season. Welcome to the stage. All Stars season 4. We've got Eureka, who is back. We've got Peppermint, who is back. Got the drag queen. Kennedy is back.
Oh my
God.
God.
Weird Alaska Sharon mix-up.
Ooh.
And finally, Shea Coulee.
There's even an Acid Betty in there somewhere, I think.
I think that was the whole Alaska Sharon milk amalgamation of whatever Dusty Ray Bottoms is trying to do. But no, really, I'll go back through and we'll list all the new queens. We've got Eureka, Peppermint, Ms. Cracker.
Wait. Where's this Peppermint thing coming from?
Oh, sorry. I'm reading a list and Asia O'Hara. Sorry.
Girl.
Ms. Cracker. And I'm probably going to say her name wrong. Yuha Hamasaki.
Yeah.
Blair St. Clair. Monet Exchange.
Yeah.
Cameron Michaels. Mayhem Miller. Calorie Kardashian Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Monique Hart. Dusty Ray Bottoms, The Vixen, Vanessa, Vanjie, Mateo, and Aquaria.
Yeah.
Interestingly, a lot of those queens are from New York City.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that out of all of the seasons, this season has the most representation for people of color.
I believe that's true because on another thing I listened to, they said that there were 8 persons of color this season out of 14.
So yeah, I my initial thoughts on the intros for them is when they were coming into the workroom, I'm like, Jesus Christ, that looks like fill in the blank. Particularly, and I don't know anyone who watched this episode and did not say to themselves, "Is that Bob the drag queen?"
Yes. Totally did.
Sound like Monet exchanged her voice.
Yeah.
The way she presents herself, the way she acts, it's like Bob the drag queen 2.0. I'm not mad at it. Don't get me wrong.
Which is, it's kind of funny because technically Ms. Cracker is Bob the drag queen's drag daughter.
Exactly.
Let's just pause and reflect on that for a moment.
Well, it's obviously a recessive gay gene. So
Pitch.
what? I'm just saying, you know. Yeah. I get where you're going with this, Chester. I didn't understand what you put in the document at first. Now I get it.
Where it's an All-Star season 4.
Yeah. I was like, what?
Yeah, it was just in their initial looks when they first came into the workroom. I mean, after that, when they, were doing the challenge, with the exception of Monet Exchange, they all took on their own individual uniqueness after that. It was just their initial introduction into the workroom to do their namesake and to meet everybody else. It was just like,
yeah.
Why does that bitch look like Callie Mantle? Why does she look like Peppermint? Why she look like Shea Coulee with all that Chicago business going on?
Oh, it's unfortunate that we got to season 10 and we now have 9 regular seasons of Queens. What, like 114, something like that?
Yeah.
That have come before them. So now you are automatically compared to every bitch that's come before.
Yeah,
true.
I'm trying to not do that. It's a little difficult with Monet Exchange just because she is so strikingly similar to Bob in the voice and the way she presents herself and the way that she dresses. I mean, even her entrance in there was a fucking jumpsuit and pumps, just like Bob would do.
One of she kind of did the whole Rosie DeRiveter
exactly
kind of thing,
which is right up Bob's alley.
Yeah.
And then during the runway challenge, she was wearing a look that was very Bob-esque. Yeah, I could definitely see Bob doing something like that.
Bob-ish,
Bob-esque. So, yeah.
But here's the big question. Honestly, can you tell the difference between Monet Exchange and Mayhem Miller and Asia O'Hara and Monique Hart?
Well,
because she didn't step in it. She damn fell down a flight of stairs in it.
God bless her.
Okay. I kind of get it because when everybody's in drag, you don't quite know who's who. until they start taking it off, you've never seen that person without makeup on yet. So I get where she would have had that confusion.
I just would have, no offense. I would have been like, if I were Yuha and I didn't know who was who, I would have said Asia and been like, oh, I'm not Asia. Okay. And went right along and just left it like done. I know it was a cute, funny moment. I kind of felt a little bad for her. But on the same token, she kind of kept literally stepping in it, like you said, Gary, like getting them wrong, got it wrong again, got it wrong a third time. Yeah.
My favorite part of the response, honestly, though, was she can't tell the difference of all of us. Like amongst no offense, the black girls, they were all like, "You listen to this bitch," and I was like, "You meet the blowtorch." Like, they just burned her right there.
If I were in that workroom, I would have done the same thing. I probably would not have used the same words or anything like that, but I would have been hard pressed to know who was who. But then again,
I would have gone around and been like, "Can everybody wear a name tag, please?"
But it also has to do with the fact that they're all thinner black guys. There's nothing. If one of them was like big boy or heavy set, then you can say, "Oh, okay, well, you're the big one. You're this person."
Okay, and for that, I have this to say: Monet Exchange is hippie girl. She's a hippie girl, so she don't pass.
But it's okay. I mean, again, first day, mistake was made. It has been changed. We're good. We can move right along.
Damon, what are your thoughts?
I said bring it back to season 1, or bringing it back to 1. I was really happy with the. I love that they honored season 1 by doing the first maxi challenge of RuPaul's Drag Race, which was the drag on a dime, grabbing shit and out of the dollar store and making an outfit. I'm a big fan of. I loved that original challenge, and I'm glad that they did that. I was also a major fan of the mini challenge, which was them having to stand out in a sea of Drag Race alum. There was not just winners, but people who have been on the show before. I really liked that. I thought it was a great concept. I love the like 10x runway kind of thing, although they kind of mostly stayed to one side, but whatever. It all worked.
I think it had something to do with where the cameras were.
Yeah, probably.
Because I noticed that too.
But still, good time, good show, good, reminisce of the, like I said, the first challenge, and I really, really, really liked that. So yeah.
I would like to say that I thought Trixie's comment.
Sorry. Damn it. Sorry.
Who was it? Was it Aquaria that they were up there dancing and they hit Jinx?
Oh yeah.
I love Trixie's comment. Like, you know that Roxy Andrews is in a bar somewhere, just about fell off her seat when Roxy got when Jinx got slapped.
Yes. Oh my God, that was cute. I love that. Go Trixie. And Roxy, apparently.
Yeah, that was a slightly embarrassing moment, to say the least. Yeah. There was a couple of those that happened.
I kind of like that. I mean, and honestly, I will give Aquaria props for taking that moment and just letting it go, and then going back And when she stopped on her, the end of her sort of moment, she then like pointed to Jinx again. Like she stopped and did it literally to Jinx to kind of put it all together. So props to Aquaria for like hitting that mark right that time, the second time. Gary,
Nice.
how about you?
Everything old is new again. I guess that's the feeling. So they brought back Drag on a Dime. Very first challenge, infamous challenge, has been done in so many bars and events.
Yeah.
They give you like lots of schlock. You have to figure out what to do with it. They all say it's from the 99-cent store. Are there really 99-cent stores anymore? I'm just asking because in my city, everything's $1. So I got Dollar Tree, Dollar General, Dollar Store, everything for under $1.
Well, that's the 99-cent store.
But I haven't seen a true 99-cent store in quite some time. So yeah. So I don't know, like runway walking with all the other queens there to be intimidated, I guess. I don't know. Like it didn't really move me a whole lot. But we're probably going to get back into the normal thing that happens every year. Damon, you've been with me since the beginning when we started this. I think it was season 7 doing this tea time show. So 7, 8, 9, now 10. So 4 seasons, you and I have been in this. Okay, so let's get through the first, 4 fucking episodes. Cause
yeah,
I hate to say it, but somebody got to go home.
True.
So we're just in this weird pattern now. We've been through it before, as hosts, like, and as fans of the show, to be like, well, somebody's got to be on the bottom. Somebody's got to not be good. And that's probably my biggest disappointment about this. It is season 10. There is so much focus on the anniversary. We changed the workroom. I thought we had a new runway. Nope, just for a mini challenge. Fuck it. We're not going to do an X for the whole season because that's too problematic, apparently. We're going to go back to the T for the other stuff, which to me is a big disappointment. So I just, I'm like, okay, well, this is really kind of poopy because I thought we were going to get really high caliber across, the board. And we don't really have that. Now, I get it. It's a competition and there has to be low performers and high performers, blah, 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 blah. But come on, really? Like, all the promotion, everything leading up to it, is about them being the best of the best, quote unquote, so to speak. I don't think so. That's me. So yeah, everything old is new again. Maybe. Like, I mean, Chester, you brought up a good point about the All-Star season 4 and was naming how there's so many parallels that can be drawn from person to person. So yeah, I'm like, okay, we shall see.
It'll be interesting to see what they do. With regards to this, I'm very interested to see what they continue to do. Right now, as we're just sort of, everyone's new, everything's fresh. We'll see how they cut it, as it were.
Yeah.
All right.
Is there anything else y'all want to say specifically about the mini or the maxi challenge?
No.
It was interesting to see the different looks that people came up with. And I honestly do believe someone kind of got robbed a little bit.
In what way?
I honestly loved Monique Hart's look. I thought
Which one was that?
That was the one made of like playing cards. There was kind of the constructed dress and the thing on the top. I loved that, and I thought it was a top for me. Like
I agree. I think the dress was well crafted and looked really nice. I think what may have happened is she used material underneath it that you're not supposed to use.
Possibly.
That's the only thing that I can think of is that she, pasted the cards and whatever onto material and then was wearing it. And I believe that that's kind of against the rules.
Maybe. It was still freaking awesome.
That's interesting because I thought they would have made an announcement or made a comment about that. If something,
I thought that they did. I could swear that Rue said that you can use it, but I
It's
don't
hard
remember.
to say. I have to look at the episode. I have it on iTunes. I'll look at it again just to kind of get a good feel for it. I remember there being something mentioned about other than the prop they could use, like their heels and wigs and undergarments.
Right.
To
And then
right.
And I know
well, Rue did say everything else we see has to be from the 99-cent store. So I thought there was a very specific instruction because I was like, oh, so if you can't see it, it don't matter. So to build something on something else, like as a structure underneath, that kind of a thing, if that part of it, like if the framework can't be seen. So like is it the Vixen that took the pool noodles and cut them up?
Yeah.
If she had used like a wire frame of some sort, like had crafted one, I don't know, got a welding gun out, some shit, had like made, this cage bodicey kind of thing, like, Miss Vanessa Vanjie had for the mini challenge, and then attach stuff to it.
Yeah.
That's where I think the rule is that technically wasn't provided by the store, but because it's underneath, it's not seen. That's how I would have interpreted it if I was competing, but I don't know.
Yeah. Oh well. To each their own. I mean, not to each their own. I just feel like it was really well done. And if it was against the rules or whatever, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Monet's was one of them that I was really impressed by. I was like, that bitch took all of them Texas cards, made an entire outfit out of them.
Monique.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Monique. We got too many M's. That's going to be my problem.
What? Monique, and Mayhem?
Mm-hmm. All right. Are we ready to move on to the next section?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. I'll turn my speaker back up because, yeah.
Girl, if you're not watching Untucked, you're only getting half the story.
So RuPaul says if you're not watching Untucked, you only get half the story. So let's talk Snatched, shall we? Let's talk about VH1 money. Let's talk about how we got a little bit better production style, and now we've got CG, these computer graphic text overlays that help the broader millions of people audience know what the fuck is going on. Because if you haven't been watching Untucked on YouTube or wherever it was previously, or on the web or whatever, you don't necessarily know what the behind the scenes show is. So that was the first thing I noticed. I was like, oh, isn't that cute? They're putting all this stuff on there, trying to help the audience know what the hell's going on.
Typical VH1 in there. Pop up.
Yeah. So yeah. So I will say this, because Chester, you're gonna go first. Untucked right out the gate, snatched honey. They did not hold back. So what are your thoughts?
Well, on the doc, I titled my thoughts Monet complete, Vanessa defeat. And the reason why is because the girls were the safe queens went to the back. They were doing their little powwow. The rest of the tops, was it?
Tops and bottoms.
They had. I'm not exactly sure who had come back or whatever, but at some point, the topic of oh, I'm gonna forget her name. Oh, Ms. Cracker copying Aquaria's look had come up, and
Yes.
Aquaria was saying, "Oh, she copies me this way, and she copies me that way, and blah blah blah." And I don't remember exactly who said it, but they made this comment that like she faked it for 10 seasons. Now, what I find interesting about that, and this is why I said Monet complete, because I think Monet has a somewhat complete package about her. She is confident in herself without being cocky.
Yeah.
She has her act together. She does not seem to be faltered by insecurities or anxiety or anything like that. And she can look at the other queens and see how they're behaving and is able to interject and say, you know what? You're not there. We don't know the full story. And you're throwing shade to somebody who can't defend herself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So Monet is over here on the outside looking in, and she's like, well, she obviously was able to have some kind of uniqueness about her.
Yeah.
And then it was like, well, have you talked to her about copying your look yet? And Aquaria was like, flabbergasted that had to be a thing. Well, yeah, it has to be a thing. If you're going to be a bitch and bring it up like that for millions of viewers, you better clear the air.
Mm-hmm. I love the way that they said Aquaria and I are Aquaria kind of musicians. We're gonna have some words. I'm like, okay, you're definitely gonna have some words. I don't know if you're gonna like said words because I'm gonna because go ahead and go into kind of into mine because I put faked it on as my thing, and I'm just gonna say this right now. No offense to Aquaria, but I think maybe you two kind of have some wires crossed because yes, you guys look kind of alike and you always get compared. And I get that can be a problem and issue and whatever, blah, blah, blah. I get it. But at the same time, you're 21, girl. Like you've not been out there as far as I could tell nearly as much. Maybe you were out there at 14. I don't care. I don't want to know, but I get that sometimes you think it may be coincidence, but sometimes it is just fucking coincidence. And no offense, there's a lot of shit out there that drag do that a lot of drag queens copy. There are certain looks that have been known across the board. Like the whole like drama in the workroom about the like eyebrow or whatever the fuck that was. I was sitting there like, they don't look nothing alike.
The overall face,
Uh-huh.
no, looked absolutely nothing alike. The only thing that was alike was an eyebrow. And my big thing was, like 20 other drag queens do the same fucking eyebrow, you cunt.
Yeah. Like that's my big thing. I'm saying, like, why are they doing this? Right? Like, why is this a thing all of a sudden? Like, and I get it, maybe editing, whatever. I don't fucking care. But like they had like Aquaria was doing her eyebrows and she literally stops and looks like across the room and sees Miss Cracker kind of doing the same thing. And she's like, oh, we're doing the same eyebrow now. And then they turn to Eureka and I forget who else. And like, I'm like, really over a fucking eyebrow. Cool your tits. Like, it ain't that serious. Your faces look nothing alike.
I think the whole thing is manufactured. Like, while it may be true in New York that there's like this issue about people confusing the two of them all the time, they kind of look alike, but yeah, I was like, no, like
because they're both white.
Oh, girl.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess if I'm gonna make fun of Yua for getting all the black girls confused, then perhaps it is possible that white girls can be confused with each other.
I think
I was just saying that because Miss Cracker said she's white.
I think I think the issue is they're both from New York. They're both from the New York area. They're both smaller, thinner, long nosed ish kind of queens, and they do like. And I will admit, when they showed the pictures, there are some similarities, but to me, it's not enough to be like they're copying each other. One's copying the other, or whatever. I agree with you, Gary. I think this is all either maybe brought up a little too much, or someone kind of mentioned it in their interviews or whatever.
It makes for drama. It makes for good
Yeah.
TV.
It makes for
That's all
drama.
it's doing.
I mean, let's look at it this way. Someone had posted when the episode aired, they were like, "Oh, we got the Alyssa Coco thing back again," and I was like, "What?" Because I didn't understand right away. And then watching the episode of Untucked, I was like, "Oh, that."
Yeah.
Oh, what?
Yeah. And that's my like whole like faked it. And I like one of the things that I forget who said it again, but like you faked it to season 10. And I want to be like, I don't think Rue and the producers and whatever would have allowed someone with that kind of thing, with that fake quote unquote-ness to have made it onto the show. Again, maybe they did this for the sake of drama, but given what I have,
because that would be exposing somebody's career,
yeah,
and I cannot,
yeah,
conscious think that the producers are like, "Do you see this? She's copying her. Let's bring her on and expose it." No,
I don't think they would have done that. But I think the other issue is just the whole like, while their looks are kind of similar sometimes, the only thing like the examples that Aquaria gave in Untucked were like bullshitty to me. She's like, I was wearing this latex thing with the heart cut out and this thing like this, and then she comes in with a different color thing, but it's a circle, and it's like, I'm like
Well, that particular description to me was the most damning of everything that had been said. She's always copying my style. She's copying my makeup, blah, blah, blah. But when she said that in Untucked, and she said, I wore a yellow latex outfit, one like poofy shoulder with a heart cut out and a thing on the side, blah, blah, blah. And then she shows up 2 weeks later in a club, same color, latex, circle, not a heart, blah, blah, blah. Like, I was like, oh, that does sound kind of a lot alike. Like, seems like, I'm not gonna say she copied you, but it does seem odd. But in a way, I kind of think it's manufactured. I'm not really into it. Like, and the Vixen, jumping in and extrapolating and kind of carrying further that conversation about the thing, and then they're all jumping on her, and they're like, and I was like, I'm sorry, I agree with the Vixen. She's like, hold up, like, I was just taking this to its conclusion, like,
yeah.
So I was kind of amused by that, because I was like, y'all be careful, because Vixen, she isn't calling you out, but she's basically saying, if you're gonna say that, then carry it forward. I mean, that's that kind of gets to my thoughts on Untucked. I say today is brought to you by the letter T. Because there was a lot of it spilled. There was I find it very interesting that I think the Vixen was the one who was called out, because Vanjie made a comment, and she's like, I think it was something like, I don't want to say, or she was trying to be polite, and Vixen's like, no, like, and then I think was it Monet or Monique was like, nope, girl, put your dick out. Like, just put it out there, because that there's this whole thing about what this one said to this one and blah blah blah, and I was like, ooh, here we go. Like, it was, I mean, I was highly amused. I felt bad because there was this confusion about the sponge dress and the aesthetic and this whole artistry behind it, and you start with the dirt, and then you've got the water and the soap sud, and then you get to the sponge thing, and I was howling because all the queens were like, what? No, girl. No. Like, I loved how Asia was like, everybody get up. No, everybody just get up, leave her behind. No. Like, no. Like, that, I was dying because Asia was just like, we didn't get it. Sorry. Like, we just gonna leave you alone because like we all on the same page and you not.
Yeah.
I think part of that just has to do with the fact that when the queens are doing their runway, they get, the judges know what their look is supposed to be. And she explained that to them. But the other queens don't know that.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, so here's the thing. I want to touch base on the Cracker Miss Cracker and Aquaria thing. All right, one of them is 33, the other is 21.
Mm-hmm.
The one that's 21 is accusing the 33-year-old of stealing her stuff, and I'm like, okay, so you're gonna accuse someone who's more than a decade older than you, that may very well have more drag experience than you, of stealing your stuff. And the 33-year-old comes to the workroom for the first time in 10 seasons with a fucking portfolio, a scrapbook of her looks and her makeups as a palette reference, like as to how to do things. There's this whole segment about this, and I'm like, you're allowed to do that?
Miss Cracker did that.
Right. Miss Cracker did that. And I was like,
she did that. I'm like, what has she got there? And I realized that it's like a lookbook.
yeah.
And then she starts explaining it. I'm like, holy shit, the girls can do that? I know damn well they don't allow that kind of stuff on other programs. Like what's the one where they have to make clothes?
Project Runway.
Project Runway? Yes. They are not allowed to have pattern books. Like,
Well,
it is very much
Yeah.
against the rules. There was somebody on one of the seasons that got caught looking up patterns online. They somehow got access to the internet and looked up a pattern, and they got kicked off the show for it.
Curious.
Right. So that whole thing to me, that's why I'm like, I think it's a little manufactured, because I'm kind of like, really, the 21-year-old, no offense, the whippersnapper, the baby of the entire team of 14 contestants this year, she's accusing the 33-year-old of stealing her stuff. And I'm like, because then when that whole book thing happened, and like that goes on, and then Aquaria Vixen says something to Eureka, and they're next to Aquaria, blah 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 blah, and I'm like sitting there going, really, like, I wish I was on the other side of Aquaria, because I would have stopped everything I was doing, and I would have just looked her in the face. I would have been like, okay, and gone back to what I was doing. I've been like, no, I don't have time for this. Like, shenanigans be gone, girl. We're done. No, like, this is just
Goodbye.
Yeah. So, and it's not to say that she isn't talented. I was just like, what the? I don't know.
Yeah.
So it's funny because there's a part of me that's like, y'all be careful, because there's 5 of you bitches from New York City, and the last thing you want is to be known for shit stirring and drama and all this kind of stuff. Like, you're representing your city, and you got a lot of you, and the last thing you need is, to people be like, oh, the art queens don't get along, they copy off each other, they fight all the time. I remember, like, that's not cool. At least not in my opinion, it's not. So yeah, I thought Untucked, ooh, girl, wigs snatched.
Yeah.
They made me laugh so hard.
I was realizing I wasn't writing a lot of notes during Untucked, and I realized why, because I was so engaged. And at first I was like, oh, this is gonna be like, when they started Untucked, it was kind of because it was very produced, which is different than what I'm used to with Untucked. So I was kind of hesitant. But then as it kept going, I was like, ooh, where's my popcorn? Like, oh, I want to hear this and see all this. Like,
oh, they were cracking me up. From the moment the show starts and the producer lets them walk in the back, what's one of the first lines? Ooh, look at the colorful straws. And I was like, here we go. Like, let me put my buckle on, because like they into it, and they really make me laugh. I was like, I think we're gonna have some really good moments that are gonna come out of if they can keep this caliber going. But here's an interesting thing. I have a quick question for the two of you. Do you think that now Untucked is being produced? And by produced, I mean, now everyone knows the score. Like, think of it this way. Like, when you were in the first, 3-4 seasons of RuPaul's Drag Race, all of those contestants were trying to get a feel and figure things out, and social media hadn't exploded. Fast forward all the way to season 10, And now Untucked is in its fourth season, maybe?
Oh, it's
Longer
been
than
longer
that.
than that.
Well, I mean, but it's at the height of its caliber and its production.
Mm.
So do
Mhm.
you think, in a way, the contestants are very much aware of this and kind of manufacturing some stuff for the camera
They
when they're
could be.
back there and it's a kiki, you know?
Mm.
They could be.
It's hard to say. I agree with you, Chester. I think it could be something, but I also think it may be not so much like manufactured as it's going to be a little what's the word I'm looking for? It's going to be a little not concentrated. I think is the word I'm thinking of. Like they're going to be like people are going to be thinking more, maybe thinking a little bit more than they normally would because they now know not only is it the episode, but it's now untucked and everyone's going to see all of it. So where certain things may not have been a part of your like episode, quote unquote, what happened during that thing, they're now going to be like, well, that could potentially be brought up or shown up in Untucked. The whole calorie Kardashian kind of calling some people out for things, I was kind of like, where the hell did that come from? Because
this kind of goes back to what I was saying about Money Exchange. She like feed into any of that stuff. She just kind of let it happen. And
yeah,
you can tell the people, like when Calorie was going off about that, I'm just like, you're not going to last long because you do not have the skin required for this.
like my main issue was she was basically saying that she thought her look was good and or not, maybe not the greatest, but it was better than others. And I kind of want to smack her in the face. Like,
well, yeah, because she was coming
did
for
you
other people.
Huh?
Because she was coming for other people. She's like, my dress is great. Well, what about yours? Yours looks awful. And I'm like, not according to the judges, and that's what really matters.
Yeah.
Right. And that's where one of the other queens, and I forget which one it was now, says she's just defensive because her head's on the chopping block. Like she's
Monet Exchange is the one who had said that.
Right. So and I have to agree, like there's a sense of maturity that comes with experience and a lot of things. And I think that some of the individuals do not necessarily have that. And it's not even necessarily that they're the youngest of the bunch. It's just I don't know quite what their experience in their background has been and how they feel about things. And I feel bad for Calorie because I think she probably is quickly, or was in the moment actually, because it's probably obviously recorded, figured out pretty quickly she is in a competition that she was maybe not prepared for. And it's not, and it's not to say that she can't improve, but I was like, I mean, come on, seriously? She comes out on the runway in that outfit. And while I didn't think the outfit was horrible, the moment she turned around, I was like, nope. What is that shit? What is that shit? I was like, no, girl. No. Don't get me wrong. I like big girls competing, but this is not good. Yeah. And the only way I figured that she could have made it work if she thought it through was you should have made the black line from the corsets go all the way to the floor. So you should have had matching fabric in black to make a black stripe. So when you turn around, the design looks consistent, not obvious that you didn't attach money to the back of it because it's, snaps and pulleys and whatever all girl got going on. Like, I mean, it was one of those things, and I have to agree, it wasn't necessarily that original. So I felt bad for her because I think she really felt cornered. She was, and that's why she lashed out, and Untucked was kind of like, and then I felt bad because then she draws Blair St. Clair in, and I was like, oh no, not the Boy Scout, the 22-year-old from Indianapolis that's so sweet and innocent. Like the look of fear on her face. She was like, I thought I saw in her eyes like, what, girl? Like,
don't you fucking bring me into this, girl. This ain't no. This ain't no shit. No, fuck that shit. Like that's what I saw in those eyes. I was like, who the fuck do you think you are right now? Don't drag me down to what you're doing, to your level. Okay.
Yeah, in our live chat, woo, they're all fired up. Like I might mispronounce, I apologize. Like Edian says, and explaining your look by bringing down others is a sign of lack of self-confidence and a sort of maturity. And
Yep.
I don't disagree. Like, but that's one of the things I had to learn in my life is like, you could criticize another person, you can give another person feedback, but cutting somebody down, that's more revealing about other stuff.
Yep.
So yeah, I feel bad for Calorie. So yeah, that's one of them things.
Yeah.
Are we ready to move on to our next segment?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
The time has come. Ready to lip sync for your life. Good luck and don't fuck it up.
So I had to switch that out. That was one of the things I was working on. That's why we were delayed in starting, because I still had lip sync for your legacy. And I was like, shit. They ain't got no legacy yet. They're all singing for their life.
Nice.
So snaps and eye rolls, hits and misses. What do we want to give snaps to? What do we want to give a big old eye roll for? Chester, why don't you start us off?
Snaps to Miss Christina Aguilera.
Yes.
And for so many reasons. Let's start off with the first reason, because all of the girls are up there, they're getting ready to do the judging, and Ruth stops the show and is about ready to gag everybody because she's like, wait a minute, I'm going to bring back another queen. Welcome back, Pheromone. And all of a sudden, here's Christina Aguilera standing there. And I was just like, for the briefest moment, I was like, oh my God, they're bringing back Farrah?
Yep.
That shit was funny as hell because the looks on all the queens' faces, like even Eureka was like, what?
Yeah. It was very much a like, what the fuck? Like, we don't need to do this again. We don't like everyone, like, I mean, and I agree, like bringing back another queen is kind of, we've done that before. We've played that game before. You know, they don't last. So why even bother bringing them back on? But again, like again, I agree with you, Chester. It caught me for like 2 seconds, like off guard, because the way they brought her up on stage, she was side face, and she had the pink wig.
Until she started walking down the runway and the confessionals were going off, and somebody said something in the confessional, and I was like, wait, that's not Pheromone, that's Christina Aguilera. And then it clicked.
Right. There was two things that gave away that it was Christina. One, she's tiny, and as discussed, I think in Untucked, she's only 5'2".
Yeah.
So she's an itty bitty thing, and I hate to say this, she got real boobs, and real boobs hang lower than drag queen boobs. So, like, that was one of the first things I noticed about her outfit as she's walking, is that her breasts, while beautiful and voluptuous, I ain't got, you know, ain't nothing wrong with that. She's walking, and I'm like, oh yes, real boobs are like somewhat like, especially if they're bigger, they have a little bit of a pendulous kind of undulation, this motion when you're walking, and no drag queen can make that happen. Like,
no,
not really. So it cracked me up to no end because she's walking and she's trying really hard to, you know, kind of vamp a little bit in the gown, and she was pulling it off, but it cracked me up because I was like, if you weren't sure whether or not it was Farrah to begin with, like, there was enough nuance about it, you know, that kind of gave it away. So yeah.
The other thing that when it kind of like clicked that, oh wait, that's Christina Aguilera, I was like, oh, I get it, because they haven't actually said this is the guest, or they did say our guest judge is going to be Christina Aguilera in the beginning of the show.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like, oh, they never introduced her on the panel.
Yeah, that part threw me off because I was like, all right, when Christina gonna show up? Because I was like, I can't believe we're already doing critiques and shit or whatever, and And they already sent back everybody that was safe, like to the back of the stage or whatever. And I was like, what are they pulling on us? Like, I'm like, this is some stunt, because why would you be like bragging about her being there and then not bring her out? And that's when Rue's like, oh, hold up. Like, I want to bring a new queen into the competition. And I was like, oh, and as soon as she walked out and she said it was Pheromone, I was like, that ain't Pheromone.
That ain't no pheromone.
But yeah.
But
And
it was
then
very cute.
like Ginger in our live chat says, Monique Hart, Pheromone had some work done. Like, if you believe that's Pheromone, her face got a little dud, like, some other things. So it was.
There were other little cute things about having Christina on. One was there's a clip of her like looking through the curtains at the stage.
Yeah.
And it wasn't aired, but I'm wondering if she kind of did similar to what Lady Gaga did on season 9, with bringing her on there and talking with the queens individually about their career.
It's possible.
Yeah, we don't know, because I haven't seen anything about it, like any like unaired footage. There's no hinting that it happened. I will say that I thought it was really weird that here's Christina in that room with the 14 queens around her, and they're all like vying for her attention, like she's a piece of meat being thrown to a pack of wolves. I thought that was a little weird, especially when one of the queens, and I don't know who does it, like kind of monopolizes all of her time, which I thought was a little much. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's really hard to know how much time she spent backstage. Like, what we got to see of Untucked, I agree, Chester, was it was different than Lady Gaga. I would really hope that Christina spent some time like talking to them about like competing and what's going on and that kind of stuff. But I don't know if that necessarily happened. Like, I hate to say it, but in a weird way, they shot their load with Gaga first and then bringing Christina on later. When I heard that Christina was like the big judge for the first episode, I was like, oh, y'all probably should have flipped that. And it's not being shady about Christina or Lady Gaga, but I was kind of like,
Yeah.
So the last thing I want to say about that is it was a very personal visit to one particular queen, and that would have been Pheromone. The show brought Pheromone on, and they told her that, we want you to be in drag, and I have a feeling they told her what to wear or gave her things to wear.
Well, but, I think they gave her like, you're going to be on camera. Like, this is kind of a look. This is an aesthetic or look you should be going for.
Yeah.
Of some sort.
And the video clip is in the show notes, so you'll be able to watch it. But Pheromone comes into the workroom and she's like, well, this is nice. They brought me in here to look at the untucked workroom or untucked backstage workroom. Yeah. And she turns around to her right, and there's Christina sitting there waiting for her, looking exactly the same.
Yeah, it was very cute. I really liked the whole concept. I think it was a really emotional but good, like a positive emotional kind of moment for Pheromone. I know they share the video that you shared is a little bit longer. They originally just released just a clip, and then they released the whole thing, and I was like, yeah, it's very nice and sentimental that they did that for Pharah. Or maybe they did it for Christina, because Christina probably, the way that way Christina tells the story is that her makeup artist or someone said that she was told by many people that Pharah looks a lot like her.
Well, what I found interesting, because I looked it up live, or well, not live. When I watched that video, Christina says that her people were like, "We're getting all these messages about you being at the Met Gala. Well, you ain't at the Met Gala. Like, what's going on?" And so I went and looked up Pheromone Met Gala, and she looked amazing. And so I had to look at the pictures, and there's one or two specifically that I can see where people might think she looks like Christina Aguilera. But otherwise, I'm like, no, that's pheromone. Like, and it's no shade. It's just like I don't think they look that much alike. You know, it's not like Chad Michaels impersonating Schaefer as a career.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I don't think it's quite to that level, but no, I kind of got it, and I was like, oh, it's very interesting. But I do think that was probably one of the best moves I've seen out of the production of this show for a long time, is to bring those two together the way they did, and that Farrah got to have one-on-one time and have a little confessional. That was the only thing that I got, I don't want to say tired of, but it was so repetitive, it bothered me that Queens kept saying, you were the first song I ever did, and it was this album, and blah blah. And I thought, okay, but like I don't know. It was just maybe I missed out on that, and I'm not part of the right age of the generation. That makes sense. That so many queens would be like, "You were my first," you know what I mean? Like right to the artist. So I was like, okay. Chester, eye rolls.
I want to talk about Vixen. Specifically, is she from Chicago?
Apparently
Girl.
so.
Are you channeling Jinx?
Well, her outfit was a fucking mess. For being the very first outfit that the other queens are going to see you in, I was just like, what the fuck is she wearing? And then all of a sudden I got it, because the first thing that I noticed was the Chicago flag, which is blue and white stripes with 5 red stars in there. And
Okay.
I'm not certain, but I believe the 5 stars represent the 5 major boroughs of Chicago.
Mhm.
But I have a feeling what she was doing was channeling the premiere episode of season 9, the Oh My Gaga episode, where they were doing the hometown runway looks, where everybody was, make your runway look a tribute to where, your city. And she comes from Chicago. If that wasn't made apparent by the Chicago flag and the Chicago sign, the logo of the city of Chicago, and the bullhorns on top of her head, and the city skyline as a skirt, and whatever else she fucking had on.
Hello, girl. She had a piece of Chicago pizza, like Chicago
she?
pie. Oh yeah. That's the thing that's on her like right abdomen. Like, oh yeah, it was walking tourism couture, I guess. I mean, if you want to call it something.
It was a mess. It was just, I was so like disgusted by it. Like, really, that's what you're gonna wear for your entrance?
To be fair, Vixen is known as a activist queen. That's one of the things she says, and when she meets the other girls and she comes into the workroom. So she's very much an in-your-face kind of a performer. So I think that's why she's going to be more, I don't want to say artistic, but like on that side of things, as opposed to say glamorous or
right. I have a feeling it's going to be very, she's going to be channeling a bit of Sasha and Shay combined.
But on that same token, however, I hated the way she came into the runway. I hated her into the workroom. She was like, I came here to fight. And she's like, I'm like, what the fuck does that have to do with anything that you just did?
But then Asia, she cracked my ass up. She's like, was she mad?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, Asia O'Hara, I love you. I love you so much right now, because you are a seasoned pageant Texas queen who is just like, she is not fazed by nothing. She's the cool, calm waters of the show, I think. And she just called it out. She was like, oh, she mad.
It totally turned me off for her. I know, that's her thing, but still. That's no ma'am, no ham, no. I am not featuring that. No.
Yeah, so I mean, she's not high on my list. I don't think she'll make it to the end, but I can be surprised.
You never know, apparently.
David, what are your snaps?
So I give snaps where I think snaps are due and props are due. I personally really like the first RuPaul message. Again, giving honor to all the winners. They made this they did this wordplay with their names. So I was very much in love with that. I love that they put every winner's names, I think, except the All-Stars. I don't think Chad and
No, they were not.
Yeah.
No, it was just the previous 9 winning queens.
Yeah.
Because I went back when I watched it again, I was like, they weren't in order, which is a little but she got all 9 in, and the only one I think she sort of flubbed or was a stretch was Violet.
Yeah.
That was the only one where I was like, what? Oh.
Yeah. But yeah, again, I love wordplay, and that was a really cute kind of punny way to give homage to the winners, because that's what they're all vying for in this season, is they're all vying to be the next queen. So props, snaps to that, because I loved it. It was cute. And I know she didn't write it, but it was cute. She delivered it very well. So props to that.
She probably rehearsed it a bunch.
Probably.
Girl, take 72. Let's try to get it right. No, I don't know. She probably got it done in about less than 10, would be my guess.
So there are my stats. My eye rolls have to do with. So I mentioned this in the entourage, and I'm going to mention it again. I as much as I would like to root for the big girls, Calorie is not giving me what I want. She's not that great. I think she's probably a little too full of herself, pun intended, and she's a one-trick pony. And don't get me wrong, she's got a beautiful butt. Don't get me wrong. It's nice and jiggly and whatever, and he's a very cute cubby boy. Don't get me wrong. But I don't like Gary, I think you said it earlier. I don't think she's gonna make it. She doesn't have everything that it takes to get far in his competition. And you're not gonna be able to twerk your way all the way to the top. I'm just putting it out there. As much as I would like her to do well, unless something changes in the next couple of episodes, she didn't impress me really. And when she didn't impress me when she came into the runway, into the workroom, and she was wearing a white leotard over a black her black undergarments. No, never fucking do that. I don't care how big you are. You change that fucking color. You don't wear white and then black. It just always shows. And
right. And then Mariah called out on camera when she did the mini challenge. She was like, "Girl, I saw those fishnets were ripped," and I was like,
"They were ripped." I was like, "Shit." Well, no offense, she's a big girl. They probably caught on something. Anyway. So then that, and then the runway for the drag on a dime challenge. I get that she was going for, and I'm not saying just because she did it before that queens have done it before that was the problem. It was not executed well. It just wasn't. It was a corset and a long piece of fabric put together, and then dollars attached to it. Nothing really amazingly done to the dollars to kind of give it something different. Right. And there wasn't a whole lot of other things to kind of add to it. There wasn't any dollars up here or dollar earrings. Like Carson mentioned that, it was, this is all you're getting. And I was like,
we've seen it 4 times before.
Yeah. But I don't even want to say that. If you're going to do that, do it. And I don't feel that she has the craftsmanship or experience to really put something like that together.
I mean, and I felt bad because I paid attention, and I'm pretty sure when Rue rattles off the names of the queens who wore money looks before, It's a voiceover dub. It was done in post. And it kind of annoyed me because I was like, well, that's a little shady. Because that means it wasn't discussed that way on the runway in the moment. So that was the only thing. Like, I don't have a problem with the critique, but like the one thing they didn't do, and that's what probably annoyed me the most, why I paid so much attention to the sound of Rue's voice, they didn't put up what they looked like. You know what I mean? Like I expected as you rattle the names off that you get, you know, here's Raja, here's, you know what I mean? Like, and put them all side by side. So you get to see all three of them plus Calorie. So you can clearly understand why the judges are critiquing the way they are.
Yeah, it's not like they didn't have time to do that.
Yeah, well,
again, so that's sort of my thing. Like, as much as I want to support her, and even Eureka, as much as I love Eureka is, and she's mentioned it a couple more than once on the show, on this episode, that she, you know, there's some confidence missing. There's something there that's kind of holding her back, and she's scared, and I can understand that. And everyone else, because reality is, of the 14 queens, you're the one that got to return. And while everyone knows why you got to return, it's still a bit of a target because you've sort of been in this game before. So why should you get to do it again?
Right.
You know, well, we know why, but again, it's a potential target.
Yeah.
Gary, how about you?
So I have snaps for two different things. First of all, I do want to give snaps, you know, kind of a hat tip to Rue's runway look. So,
oh my God.
I will say for the opener of the entire season, that black and white, like lacy Tron, like jumpsuit, like thing is kind of crazy. You saw in our COLDR entourage like chat, I was like, did anybody else think Rue was flipping the camera off when she's at the end of the runway before she walks up? I did not know that when Zaldi made the outfit that the lace went up the middle fingers only. So when she stands there and goes like this with both her hands, because it's black, even though it's not a black background, all you see is like these white lace kind of, you know, things or whatever stencil on her middle fingers. Because the first time I watched it, I was like, I think that bitch just flipped everybody off. I was like, that seriously did not just happen. So no, Rue's runway look I thought was really good. Like, I have not liked her runway looks in a long time. I hate to say it. All-Star Season 3 did not really do anything for me. I miss the creativity. I miss the jaw-dropping kind of aspect of things. If I see another goddamn loofah sponge, plaid, whatever, knock it off, girl. How about you bring back a pulled taffy dress? Because that shit was the bomb. That's what I'm talking about. And this to me was right up there in that caliber. So so anyways, this particular look was really good. And she had fucking beautiful white hair high off to one side. So no, all of that looked really good. But I do want to give snaps for Miss Cracker's runway because I thought she was the winner. I honestly was blown away by her use of the hats. And like Carson says, you know, that jacket kind of deal. And she used a shower curtain for a skirt. Like, I thought hers was the most realistically practical, might not have clocked it as a 99-cent store outfit. Like, so I just was flabbergasted that she wasn't like gonna win. Yeah. So,
and I give props to Mayhem for what she did. I really liked what she did. I feel like it's I don't want to call it a cop out, but it's very easy to blend black on black like fabrics or whatever, you know, colors to come together. And it did look good. And I like the use of the gloves, the latex gloves or nitrile gloves that were part of it. But it was very simple-ish. Whereas I liked the look of Miss Cracker's kind of jacket and stuff. And she wowed me on the runway with her, like she was firecracker. They kept throwing stuff at her and she was lobbing them right back.
Yeah. No, so Miss Cracker for me on the runway was, you know, was aesthetically the look. There's a lot of I know critique going on right now about the whole acting thing, you know, where it was a silent movie and blah blah blah, and you're trying to sell something to Rue. I get that criticism, you know, and that feedback that's out there, you know, that people are posting. But for me, I was like, no, just aesthetically as a look, it looked complete. She took a hat, she turned it into a pillbox, she took the brim, she did this, like, I mean, just the whole thing really came together for me. And I was like, that impressed me enough to say she's one to watch, like to be careful of. So yeah. In terms of eye rolls, I hate to say this, guys, but I don't really have any eye rolls for this episode. Yeah, there was some missteps and there were some shitty things, but nothing that made me lose my mind. Nothing that made me want to drop an F-bomb and curse a bitch out and say, you don't deserve to be on the show. So no, like nothing, you know, it's all been said. Vanjie, not that great. Like at what she did. Calorie, not so hot. Like, I mean, just, I wasn't a fan of Asia's look, but it wasn't horrible. I agree that someone like kind of gave some feedback and said that it looks like Lisa Frank store threw up on her because it was just so brightly colored. But like I got it. Like, yeah. So she had the basket on her head. Like, I mean,
it was maybe a little too, not a little, it was just too much. Yeah. And that's what I think I even wrote down when she came on. Like, as much as it was cutesy and whatever, it was too much shit.
Yeah. So, but I don't think there was anything about the whole production per se that was an eye roll for me. There's just it's just disappointments. And that's, I already aired my beef that I'm pissed off that the X runway thing is not the real runway. Like, I'm just like, really?
Maybe that's your eye roll.
Well, I mean, my feeling on it is I wanted to see fucking lip syncs for your life on an X stage. That's what I was living for. Like, that was what I got so excited about. Cause I'm like, oh, can you imagine two girls like on the ends of the X's, like battling it out against each other? Cause this whole back and forth against the T and walking in front of each other and like possibly stepping on. Yeah, I'm over that, you know. Like, yeah, it gets exciting when they act like lesbians and they start making out and they roll around on the floor and blah 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 and they're bumping and grinding and people go nuts for that shit. But I'm like, we've seen it. So I would rather see like these crazy Evita moments where the bitches are at the end of the X, you know, and are just like trying so hard to like draw the attention to them. But anyways,
giving their life.
That's just a major disappointment on my part. Are we ready to move into our cool downs?
Sure thing, honey.
All right.
Gentlemen, start your engines and may the best woman win.
All right, last call, girls. What do you think is your final impression, Chester?
It's too early to make any predictions, but I do have some people that I want to see in the top and then in the bottom, and everybody else is kind of in the middle, wherever they fall. And even these, again, it's a little too early to tell, but I guess in just this little bit that I've seen them, they impressed me the most, and that was Yua.
Yua, yeah.
Yua.
Better work.
Ms. Cracker and Monet Exchange. Those three, I think, are going to at least make top 8. I'll go with top 8.
Wow. Woo! Glad you're not in Vegas.
It's funny you mentioned those 3 queens because I believe all 3 of them are from New York.
And then for the bottoms, I'm going to go with Calorie. And I just put these 2 names down there just because they kind of rubbed me the wrong way. They might grow on me. Vixen, mostly because of her tragedy of an outfit. And Monique Hart, I think, is a little too cocky.
Oh, interesting. I don't see Monique that way, but
I think that's the way to put it. I get what you mean, Chester. I get what you mean, and I as much as I like Monique, I can see that. I'll call it overconfidence.
Yeah,
possibly be getting in her way.
Right.
Like, as much as I loved her outfit, don't get me wrong, I loved her outfit and thought it was a winner. I can see that, like, because when she found out she was safe, she was pissed. And when she went from there and she went into Untucked, it was like, okay, girl, like, calm down.
Like, you need to take a step back and listen to what the judges are saying.
Yeah. Well, they didn't say anything to her.
Right, and that's part of the issue, I think, is she's one of those that wants the criticism. She wants the feedback. Like, either praise my ass or chew my ass up and tell me what I need to work on. The safe business will probably drive her crazy.
Yeah.
Because in her mind, like we were saying earlier tonight, she did that card outfit and she was like, girl, I got this. I'm probably top 3. And then when she isn't and she's automatically out the back top, like just safe, I think she was just like, wait. Hold up. What? I'm what? And I was like, oh, here we go.
Yeah. All right. Ready for me?
Yeah, go ahead, Damon.
Okay. So as I said, I put down a few standouts, but some are lacking the nerve of charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent. And the reason, like, a few girls, like Chester mentioned, there are a few girls that are kind of standing out for me. Mayhem, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with her. She did win this challenge, and she gave the emotional stories of how she's been trying for years to be on the show, and that was a very good moment for her to kind of get that validation that she needed. Monique, the other M,
Mayhem,
Monique, Monique,
Monet.
and Monet. And Ms. Cracker, the other M.
All 4 M's.
I'm loving. Yeah, I told you. I'm loving what Ms. Cracker is doing. I love her. I feel she is witty and confident. She's not overconfident, and she's kind of slaying the judges for me, and I'm kind of liking that. So good for her. And then the ones that I feel are lacking in nerve or whatever, I hate. I've mentioned it before. I'm saying it again. I love that Eureka's back, but I am really, really, really worried. Only because I feel or fear that her injury is going to get in the way. And it's either, I'm looking forward to seeing what they do in the second episode, because given the previews that we got, like, it's going to be an issue. And I want to say, like, I hope that she overcomes it. And that's what I need. I need to see that. If she overcomes it, then I'm good. If she doesn't, then it's going to be a problem. And I feel like she doesn't have it yet. I think she's just coming, maybe, I don't know how long it's been since she's back when we started recording. But, the way she told her story, I'm glad they shared that. She wasn't sure that she would be able to dance again. And I foresee that being a theme for her. And then Calorie, I as much as I was sad, kind of sad, not really sad, never mind, that Miss Vanjie left the show. I was glad she kind of left the show, like I think Chester mentioned before, because I'm not the biggest fan of her voice. She has that really wild, crazy, like, personality, that kind of Brooklyn kind of, like, well, she calls it, banshee, kind of mentality, and that's it every time. Like, I was watching yesterday a video of her and her drag mother, Alexis Mateo, and I had to stop it several times because I was like, I can't deal with you right now. But I don't think Calorie has it. I don't think the Vixen has it. I could see them being just like going away, and it wouldn't be no skin off my nose if they suddenly left. As much as I want, like, I like Calorie physically as a boy, She's kind of, he's kind of cute, whatever. I just don't think she's got it. I don't think she's gonna get it, and unless something changes in the next couple of episodes.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I agree with both of you that it's too early to make predictions. There are some people that are, really good and some not so much. For me, I'd say that my last thoughts are, quote unquote, as has been said by Rue, in a world full of nines.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's some controversy about this. I don't know if you've heard. The season 9 queens, some of them apparently do not like this tagline because they're taking it a different meaning to it. In a world full of nines, be a 10 is not an original statement. It's kind of a colloquialism. Like, it's a quote that's been used before. So I didn't think anything of it when I heard it and watched it. But then I heard that some of the season 9 queens are like, what's that supposed to mean? What's wrong with season 9? Like, what's the dealio with that? And I was like, ooh, well, that's interesting, because it's kind of like saying y'all don't measure up. Here's what I got to say. Season 10 queens, y'all don't measure up. It's season 10. I'm a lot frustrated with how the producers picked this group of 14. And I'm like, I said it towards the beginning of the show, and I feel the same way now. I expected all of them to be of a certain caliber equally. Like, yeah, there might be a little flexing, but it's not where I was expecting. It's too definitively, some of y'all at the bottom, some of y'all very much at the top. And that's a disappointment to me.
Yeah.
The only other thing I want to say, because we didn't happen to bring it up, is I was quite amused by how Cameron Michaels is messing with everybody's like hormones in the workroom, apparently, because Mayhem Miller just about came out of her skin when she was like, how'd the trade get in here? She's like, what? Because Dane Young, Cameron Michaels, who's from Nashville, Tennessee, is this buff like gym rat, is walking around in full face tats and just picking totes up like nothing and parking and putting stuff. I was so amused because Monet, I think it is, and Calorie, Mayhem, like all these queens are like, like just losing their mind over him. He is not my cup of tea, but I am so amused by this, and quite surprised that they were like putting on camera him running around in them little like Andrew Christian briefs or whatever with him filling it out. I was like, oh, well, already then.
Yeah.
I was like, y'all better have all these bitches under lock and key, because I'm guaranteeing some of them want to kai the hell out of Cameron. That might be the true drama to come later this season.
Like they all like suddenly it's revealed that he's kind of playing all of them, and like he's having sex with all. Oh my god, girl.
Yeah, I don't know. So that's kind of my
he's a bitchular.
my last comment on that stuff. So when you happen to go online, we're also going to include a link to the YouTube video where Christina Aguilera surprises Pheromone on the Untucked Sack. We mentioned it earlier, but I want to make sure that folks can get that. Speaking of such things, so to wrap it up, if you want to check out that video and other things for us here at Cubs Out Loud, you can do so at cubsoutloud.com. If you want to send us an email, you can do that at cubsoutloud@gmail.com. If you want to, you could leave us a voicemail message. We would, of course, play it on the show. You can call us at 361 COL Talk. That's 361-265-8255. On the social medias, just type in Cubs Out Loud, one word. You'll probably find us somewhere. If you're not familiar, we use Telegram as an instant messaging chat service. It's a lot like Facebook Messenger, only better. If you want to join on there, the link is tinyurl.com/Telegram. That's TELEGRAM, and then a hyphen or dash COLDR in capital letters. And you can join us on there. Of course, if you download the podcast for Cubs Out Loud in general, you can find us on iTunes. You can rate us there. Stitcher Radio, you can give us a thumbs up, all that kind of stuff. And for those of you that are brand new, because we had a bunch of people in the chat tonight on YouTube Live, just want to help explain. Cubs Out Loud is the Bear podcast of indeterminate length. We represent the bear community. We talk about a great many different things. And this is a side offshoot that we do called COL Drag Race or COLDR, where we talk about drag race. So this will come in the normal feed with everything else. So if you're interested in this, welcome aboard. And you can look for us probably on Monday nights, given work schedules and all that kind of stuff. We're figuring it out. But I just wanted to give a shout out to some people because we got a lot of chatter going on in live chat tonight. Some whole new names I've never seen before. So
Well, hi, new people that I am not actually looking at the live chat, so sorry.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, who are all these people? So I want to recognize that we got new people checking us out. Most likely, somehow we were percolating on YouTube as the thing to watch right now. I don't know. That said, if you happen to like us and you're interested, you could support us in a couple of ways. The most important one that we've been advertising over the past year is if you go to zazzle.com/cubsoutloud, you can actually find some apparel or home goods that have our logo on it. The logo that's not on there yet happens to be this one, which is our COL Drag Race. I'm going to work on making sure that our producer, Jeff, gets that up there. So if y'all want to like rock running around in a COL Drag Race shirt, you can if you want. Unfortunately, they do not have crowns from what we recall.
No.
Buy your own, bitches.
So that said, my name's Gary. If you would like to find me anywhere on the internet and get in touch with me, it's GARBEAR73. And when you do, please do a favor. Tell this bitch who you is and how you found me or why you want to get in touch with me. Because otherwise, I think you're a bot or spam or just some weird stalker. So
yeah,
I'll do that.
been there. I am Theater Cup 79 on Bears sites everywhere, just about. Or you can find me as pup_Umbra on Twitter.
Great, Damon. And Chester?
You can find me on Tumblr or Twitter under the name The Pup Up There, or various bear dating sites across the net under the name Pup Shutter or Cupcake76.
Nice. Oh, in the live chat, I was watching Drag Race videos and you were recommended. Yes, girl.
Yay!
Are you a bear or a bear admirer?
I'm not really sure. They're get this. This is their profile name. I don't understand why Google lets your name be this long.
That's fantastic.
That's their profile name on Google.
Yeah.
Etienne says also apparently the same thing that we were recommended for Drag Race. So
Well, that's pretty awesome.
Keyword tags work, bitches. That's why I put that in there for when we go live.
Yes, tag work.
Great. All right, so we're gonna exit. Unfortunately, I didn't put the proper sound cue together, so it's actually the real close as opposed to what I wanted. But anyways, so it's Kitty Girl, obviously from RuPaul's American Album. You can go buy it on iTunes. Ting.
I'm surprised you didn't have dem beats loaded up.
That has nothing to do with the Drag Race.
No, but still.
Oh, I know. Anyways, so that's what we're exiting to tonight.
Hey, kitty girl, it's your world. When you walk the street, step into party. Hey, kitty girl, get your club in the disco. Keep your hook, you better like a queen. Hey, kitty, kitty, hey, kitty, kitty, hey, kitty, kitty, yeah, oh.
Woo! Thanks everybody for watching. We appreciate it tonight. And thank you so much, Etienne. I think it's a she. Well, girl, no matter what, you're a girl with us. You were the most recent video, and you guys are life changing.
Oh, go F.
Oh.
Go ahead. Bye, everybody. Have fun.
Have a good night, y'all.